Hey, what's up guys and welcome back to Anime King 3, and I'm back with part 2 of What If Naruto was created from Mokuton cells and all Kage's DNA. Remember to get this one to 100 likes as usual, share this to all of your friends on your social media platform, and also guys, don't forget to go ahead and check out the brand new episode of What If Naruto Had Ultra Ego and Was Battle Hungry over on Anime Symbol, guys. So go ahead, check out that and enjoy. And yeah, if you're new, I indeed have 4 more channels. All the links for them will be down in the description, guys, so go ahead and obliterate that red subscribe button and become a part of the Anime King family. And thank you for all of your help and your support. So without further ado or wasting any more time, what do you say we jump right into this? Begin now, guys. So, the last time we left off, the only thing that he knew, he had a number. He was known as 13. The only person that he ever saw the most was the dark-haired man with the strange eyes, slitted like a snake. The man gave him books to read. He said that his capacity to consume knowledge was truly great. He spent the earlier years of his life in that lab. There was always painful tests. However, he didn't know anything else. He didn't know any other sense of living. So he thought that all of this was just normal. That was when that man came. That old man. He was able to break down the door. The child had hid away until the old man offered a hand of friendship. He accepted. We skipped to the village. Minato was shocked, as he did not know what to think. They had ran a DNA test on the boys that were brought in. There was 2 of them. And this second one, he had the DNA of Minato. But not only Minato. The third DNA was also in there as well. The first and the second. The doctor, his name was Dr. Yamamoto, was rather baffled. He didn't understand how this was possible. The child had multiple DNAs, some that they could not identify. From what he believed, the child was not created normally. This child was created in a tube. Orochimaru had break through the state of evolution and created something truly fantastic. Despite the horrendous things that he done, there were 12 others. And all the 12 others failed, but the 13th one, he worked. He was alive. This child was created artificially, and they had no idea what he was capable of. As for the Sannin, he was pissed off, furious. Orochimaru was trying to create the perfect vessel, a vessel that would not age, a vessel that would be so powerful that no one would be able to stand in his path ever again. And he did. He had no idea how it worked. Naruto's body contained elements that the others didn't contain. He tried multiple ways of prolonging their life, but the others failed. But Naruto did not. Before he could fully find out the element that was in the boy's DNA, his blood, his genetics, he was forced to flee. And now the boy was in the hands of Minato. He was furious, but he would get him back though. Orochimaru would not just let this perfect creation of his slip through his fingers. Of course not. Time skip. Kushina was brought in, as she was able to chat with Naruto. He told her his name was 13. She decided to be the one to name him. He was reading a book The only perverted book that Jiraiya did not write. And she said the name Naruto. He liked that one, so they named him Naruto. Kushina and Minato were trying to conceive for some time now. However, things were not going as they desired. But they had the idea though. She had the idea. And Minato, well, he wasn't sure how to feel about it first because this boy was basically his family. However, Kushina came to Naruto and told him that they want to adopt him. Emotions that he never understood. Emotions that confused him. He felt for the first time. He was shocked, surprised, and also happy. Some time passed like that. As Naruto was able to make a friend. What would be his best friend? His name was Itachi Uchiha. Mikoto was having another child. However, a couple months after that, Kushina found out she was pregnant. Naruto was so happy. There would be another addition to the family. His mother and father were also so happy as well. So yes, he was happy as well. Sasuke was born first as Naruto was able to meet Itachi's younger sibling, as he figured that the both of their siblings would be best friends. When the night came though, Naruto felt strange, as he decided to just sleep until his parents returned. He was very mature and able to take care of himself, so they were not worried. However, the Nine-Tail attacked. Naruto was afraid. His mother had told him that she had the beast sealed inside of her, so if it was out that meant Naruto ran. He ran. Kakashi quickly arrived to the house, sent there by Minato, but Naruto was not there. Naruto ran through the foliage. He ran as fast as he possibly could, trying to find, as he was unknowingly sensing them. However, he was too late. When he arrived, he saw his father take his final breaths and shut his eye. His mother told him to focus. She didn't have much long, as she held on to him and told him how much she loved him. She told him to watch over his baby sister and protect her. Naruto promised that he would as she died in his arms. He released a scream as his power fluctuated. The force, everything started to move. Lightning started to spasm out of him. His power was truly awakened. A vast, unending reservoir of power. Something that they always knew would happen. A few months passed after that. Everyone knew by now that the fourth Kage had another child. Said child, the Nine-Tails was sealed inside of it. Many respected the wish for the child to be seen as a hero, but many had lost a lot as well, so they were angry about it. But many trust the fourth Kage sealing knowledge. As for Naruto, he was stuck by his sister's side, but he realized that he needed to become powerful. He wasn't strong enough. He needed to be able to protect her. As Sarutobi, from Hiruzen's side, watch over his sister while he went to the academy. Itachi was there for him every step of the way, to make sure that he was alright. When they did the first day at the academy, they had to fight to see where they were, and Naruto dominated his opponent. So did Itachi. The both of them, they learned fast, they grew fast, they studied fast. Mina was watching his baby sister as Naruto came home, happy to see little Mito, and she seemed to be happy to see him as well. We then skipped to both Itachi and Naruto sparring. The both of them had excelled a great lot in just a few months. The both of them, they had vast knowledge, better than any of the other kids, and they had expertise on how to use it. And Naruto was showing signs of using the Mokuton without even weaving hand sign. But not just that, vastly more powerful abilities. However, something went wrong. The clones that they had at the academy poofed away, revealing that they could do the Shadow Clone Jutsu. So yeah guys, basically let's left off. You guys can switch across the place, check it out for yourself. So to say we jump right into this brand new episode. Begin now guys. We begin this episode with chaos. Naruto was frozen in his spot, unmoving, unblinking. In front of him was blood. Lying down on the ground in front of him was a girl. She was 1 year older than him. She had dull, grayish brown hair. It was tied in two pigtails that pointed outward at the side of her face. She had two bangs coming down the side of her face as well. She had dark eyes. Her body was lifeless on the ground. She was lying down on her stomach, and there was blood leaking from her. Her name was Shinko Inari. How did he end up in this position? Well, from the moment their clones popped after they got into a fight at the academy, the teachers realized that they would just be holding them back. Naruto and Itachi were the only ones to graduate from the academy at that age. Others had graduated but older. They were the only ones from their class to graduate at the age they were. So they were placed on a team with Shinko. They went on several missions. They even met a lady who called herself the Queen of the Cats, and they were forced to hunt down a ninja cat. They were placed on team 2 with their sensei, Yuki Minazuki. He was a good guy. He taught them what he could, as he realized that both boys were excelling faster than he could thought. Shinko was also a fast learner, but Naruto and Itachi were just on a different level. After 1 year of being a team, their record was stellar. They never failed a mission, so they got a special mission, an honor, to escort the Land of Fire Daimyo on a routine trip to Konoha. However, out of nowhere there was so much mist. There was a dreadful feeling that spread through the sky. It was bloodlust. All of them were hit. Their sensei was the first one to be attacked. A man materialized out of nothing and sent him through a tree. The guards that were with the daimyo quickly see to their leader's safety. Naruto and his team believed that they had this. How wrong they were. The man had moved so fast. All of them, him, Itachi, and Shinko, were knocked away. She saw the man going after Itachi. She decided to pursue. Naruto heard her scream. And now, he stood in front of her, body on the ground. Bloody, no life coming from her, none at all. Itachi, heart was beating so fast. He had saw the man moving and slashing Shinko across the chest, and she fell. Itachi's eyes unknowingly sprung to life. Naruto, on the other hand, he was frozen. So much has happened in the past year and a couple weeks. So much. He had trained so hard to make sure that he would always be able to protect the people that he cared about. Shinko was a dear friend of his. She was sweet, kind, and she did not deserve this. Why? Was it her fate to die here? What did she do to deserve such a death? She was an honorable girl, a sweet, nice girl that just wanted to be a part of the life. And look what it got her. The man who was wearing an orange mask was speaking to Itachi. He seemed pleased with the development. Naruto lost it. He started to talk. His words were carrying so much weight. Why? Why? Why did she deserve to die? Is this just a game to you? You speak like her life means nothing. On the contrary, it does not mean a single thing to me. You're correct in your assumption. Naruto's gaze snapped up towards the man. I'm gonna kill you. The man looked rather amused. However, it could not be seen because it was under his mask. The sun and the air to Minato Namikaze The fourth Kage. I've heard about you as well. However, you do not interest me. Or maybe you do, he said. Because he saw what was going to happen. The ground in front of him erupted. Thousands of vines swallow him whole. The place was destroyed as Naruto turned. Itachi was just standing there. Move, he shouted. He threw his arm out as a vine wrapped around Itachi's waist and threw him back. Naruto reduced the area to rumbles. He gazed on. Well. It seems you have more promise than I thought. Naruto was confused. The man had simply walked through his attack like it was nothing. The man was then gone. Naruto felt. He felt it right behind him. Unfortunately, you have just shown me that your life is important. You will be a true hassle for me and my plans in the coming future. And that is something that I cannot allow. So you will have to fall as well. The blade was drawn so quickly. Naruto jumped as a slash tore across his shoulder. Blood splattered on the ground. You're still standing. Why bother? You're just dragging out the pain that you will feel. Stay still. I'll make it painless. I owe you that much. Naruto gripped onto his shoulder wound. Itachi came out of nowhere, his body springing into action. Fire style. Fireball jutsu. The man was enveloped. We have to go, Itachi said, seeing the grave danger that they were up against. Naruto turned, however. A hand appeared out of nowhere and gripped him by the throat. Itachi was slapped away. Naruto was crashed into the ground. The man stood right over him. Before he picked him up, he placed the tip of the blade against his chest. As I said before, you will only be a bother in the coming future. He drove the blade clean through Naruto. No! Itachi screamed. The man turned as he saw Itachi rushing towards him. He smiled under his mask. You, on the other hand. He sucked himself away in a swirling vortex, the blade being sucked away as well. Naruto collapsed down to the ground. Blood leaving his mouth. Itachi rushed to his side. No. He said, trying to patch the wound. Naruto coughed up blood. Itachi, save your strength. I'll get you some help. Naruto grabbed his hand. Watch over Mito. Make sure she's safe. Tell her I'm sorry. I couldn't be there for her. No, don't say that. We'll get you some help. I'll bring you back to the village. You're not gonna die right here, Itachi said. I refuse to let you die right here. Naruto opened his mouth, but the word never came. The masked man had punctured right through his heart. Itachi couldn't believe what he was looking at. Unknown to him, as he gazed into Naruto's lifeless eyes, the two told him that he just awakened turned into a third. This wasn't normal at all. The pain and sorrow to watch his best friend die right in front of him. It triggered something far stronger, something vastly more powerful, that only happened to a few rare Uchiha. His eyes spun and changed. Itachi saw something truly frightening and confusing as Naruto's eyes took on an odd shape. His red eyes changed. He now had a strange pupil. First, there were 3 totems like, that shouldn't be possible. The Sharingan? And then it switched and turned. Like a shuriken, a 3-sided Fuma shuriken. His eyes then returned back to red and lifeless. Itachi saw all of that in Naruto's eyes. His sensei had reawakened after the concussion that he got, only to see two of his students dead and one who was silently crying, unable to do anything. A Konoha post was nearby. The group, with the daimyo, one of them had parted away to inform them of what was going on. The Konoha ninjas arrived to see the chaos that was left, the aftermath, bloodshed and chaos. As they were brought, the two dead bodies, they were both sealed away in a scroll to be transported towards the village. Meanwhile, that was going on. He had no solid form, no body. He was floating in pure emptiness. He was confused, not quite understanding where he was or what was going on. He then saw a bright green light, followed by a bright blue light, and then a raging red light. Where am I? His voice echoed through the emptiness, spreading, bouncing off what seemed to be invisible walls, despite none being there. He was confused and not sure where he was. Why couldn't he remember anything? His mind felt so hazy, so foggy, so empty. That is when the green light fluttered in front of him. He felt like when his mother used to hug him when he was younger. Whenever he got into a training accident and she told him that everything was going to be alright. The warm embrace of the green light spread around his body. Words that were communicated by no talk. He could understand them though. Verbal movement, lights moving around him. He was not sure what was going on or how he could understand them, but he could. Rebirth, new beginning, life, birth, death. It kept on repeating that over and over again. Time. It kept on saying that. Naruto was not sure what was going on or where he was. Meanwhile, Hiruzen Sarutobi couldn't bear the sight that he saw. There was a steel table with the body of Naruto lying on it. Hiruzen had to move back as he sat down and release a heavy breath. He leaned his head against the wall. Why? Everything was going so well. 1 year. Their record was perfect. It was a stellar record. And out of nowhere they were attacked by this masked man. The sensei was knocked unconscious, so he could not tell a lot about what happened. Itachi was able to see it though. However, the child was not in a state of mind to truly recollect anything that happened. He was going through a lot at the moment, losing so much in such a short amount of time. It can take a toll on someone's mind. The door opened up as Dr. Yamamoto, the one that first examined Naruto, entered the room. He looked down towards the boy. Yamamoto released a heavy breath. Taken so soon. The boy did not deserve to die like this. He had a promising future ahead of him. Not to mention his sister, that he cared so much for. Every time Dr. Yamamoto had run tests on her to make sure that she was healthy, Naruto was always there. He seemed so relieved and happy when he gave her a full bill of health. But now, he would never get to see her grow. This world was just... He couldn't even. That is when he felt it. A tremor went through the earth. They chopped it up to nothing at first. However, another one came. And then another. Both him and Hiruzen looked at each other. Something was not right. The building started to violently shake. Hiruzen got to his feet. He had to apply chakra as Yamamoto fell over. He collapsed down to the ground when suddenly, boom! Hiruzen had grabbed Yamamoto just in time and threw him out of the room, jumping along himself. A massive forest erupted from underneath the building. It tore through solid steel and stone. It ripped it to sunders, eviscerating, wiping everything in the room away. Hiruzen had to cover his eyes. Dust and smoke filled the place. He coughed, Yamamoto coughing as well. The both of them backed away as the room started to expand. The walls started to break until it was sucked in. A bright green light encompassed their vision. When the light finally died down, it was no longer a room. It looked like a forest. Both men were surprised and confused as well. Ninjas started to rush down the hall as Hiruzen raised a hand stopping them. He stepped inside, observing the plants. Most of them were razor sharp. Hiruzen looked around when he noticed something right in the center of the room, where the table was supposed to be. A giant cocoon hanging from the ceiling. Hiruzen looked over as he could not see Naruto's body anywhere. It was gone. Hiruzen's gaze turned towards the cocoon that was expanding and retracting, almost like someone breathing. He wondered. Time skip. A lot of people were in the room. Members of their science department, analytical department as well. Every single one of them were studying the cocoon in front of them. All of them trying to give the Hokage a genuine answer to what they were currently gazing upon. However, they truly had no idea. None of them, of course, had seen anything like this. Nothing like this. As they all ran tests and exams, they tried to pierce it. However, they physically could not. Their scalpels could not get through. And they did not want to use anything more damaging to damage whatever was inside, as Hiruzen had a good idea that it was Naruto. How all of this was possible, he had no idea. When suddenly, the room started to shake once again. Hiruzen gazed down towards all the flowers and all the vines. They seemed to be sucking moisture or energy he did not know from the ground. All of them started to die. Every single flower in the room started to die until the cocoon was the last thing left. The stem that was holding it up started to die until Hiruzen told them to move. They all stepped away as it collapsed. Right there in the center. It stopped breathing. Everyone stood there holding their breath, waiting, watching, observing when a hand burst right through it. Another hand burst through the other side and tore it apart. He collapsed, covered in green slime. He slowly got to his feet. Naruto? Hiruzen said, his gaze fixated on the young boy in front of him. The whiteness that was at the end of each of his blonde spikes had grown. It had grown, mismatching with his blonde. His hair was even longer, soaked from the green liquid. He stood there without a shred of clothing on. He was even taller and more muscular as well, as he stood there looking confused. Time skip. Naruto was lying on a table, fully awake, as he was told to sit and turn to his other side. A machine was being run over him. He was being operated on. It had been a few hours. Every test known to man had been run on him to find out how he was able to return from the dead. Yamamoto had checked it himself. The boy had no pulse. He was truly gone, and yet here he was, fully alive. All he could recall was what he was vaguely able to make out. Everything was just like being partially awake, but you could still hear and see. However, the words that he heard and saw were not the ones that was said by anyone in this room. Reawakening, life, death, time, source. There were so much confusing words. They were not in any particular order, they were just said. However, he was alive. Dr. Yamamoto had a loose theory. Orochimaru literally created Naruto from cells and DNA and chakra as well. Maybe ending his life was not something that would kill him forever. They weren't going to test that theory again, of course not, but his birth was not natural, so maybe his life ending would not be natural either, because he seemed to have matured while in the cocoon. His muscles, his body reaction time, his synapses were firing. He was the same, but at the same time different. So much had happened in a short amount of time. Hiruzen, though, knew the danger that Naruto being anywhere posed. Over the year that passed, there has been 15 assassination attempts that were targeted on Naruto. 15. None of them got too close though, because Naruto was always on their constant watch. Mito was even worse on their constant watch. However, many people that despised Minato, knowing that he was now gone, want to get revenge by killing his son. Most of the missions that Team 2 took were in the Fire Nation, and many would not dare try their luck, knowing that there was only a one way out, and that was death if they came after anyone within the Fire Nation. This masked man, though, his appearance was truly a shocking one. However, after hearing what Itachi had to say about him, that he was able to make things pass right through him, but not only that, that he was able to simply walk through the attacks and emerge out of nowhere, it led Hiruzen to believe that he had some sort of space-time ninjutsu. Not to mention Orochimaru was still out there, and he was hunting for Naruto. That is why Konoha populace were told that Naruto Namikaze had fell in battle. Rumors quickly spread. Those who despised Minato were glad that one of his spawns were gone from this world. The weeks that followed, there was no sighting of Mito. She was gone. Many rumors started to spread, but none of those were confirmed. No one knew what was going on there. Hokage would not talk about her existence. She was just gone. Hiruzen had spoken to Naruto. He had been to Inoichi. Inoichi helped him to remember what had happened. And Naruto remembered something shocking. There was a reason why Hiruzen decided to go along with his plan. Whatever brought him back from the dead, this was the only time that it will ever happen. He remembered whatever that green source was, telling him that only once, as Naruto understand what it was referring to. If he died once again, he wouldn't be coming back. Time skip. The masked man heard the rumors about the death of the boy. He had to kill him, of course. He was the brother of the Jinchuriki, someone that his organization would be going after in the coming future. And that boy had promised. His control over the Mokuton was far stronger than he expected. He couldn't afford someone like that to hassle with his plans in the future. So it's better just to get him out of the way now. However, his interest in Itachi was something else. He did not see the full awakening of the boy's eyes, something that would surprise him, because it was similar to how he awakened his Mangekyou. Time skip. Itachi was confused. The Hokage had called for him, and two Anbus had led him to a place that he did not know. He walked up so many stairs and down so many stairs. Itachi wondered what the hell. An underground bunker, a secret location, unknown to him at all. The place was like an entire civilization down here. It was vast and massive. He was surprised by it, very much so. Very surprised. Itachi arrived as he saw someone fighting with someone else. Itachi's eyes widened as he thought that he was gazing upon a ghost. This couldn't be possible. The person finally turned and came face to face with him. As he smiled, Itachi walked over and placed a hand on his friend's shoulder, touching it to see if it was real. The both of them embraced each other in a hug. No words were said. Itachi couldn't understand it, but his best friend was alive. He didn't know how this was even remotely possible. He felt a lot better than he has in the past few weeks. A lot has happened to him, mentally and physically. He had to watch his teammate that he was getting along so well with cut down, and then he watched his best friend killed right in front of his eyes. That took a toll on him. From a young age, he was always a person that hated how this world was set, and after witnessing what he witnessed, however, that didn't matter. Naruto was alive. He was alive. Time skip. And you just came back from a cocoon, he said. Like a butterfly. Exactly, said Naruto. No one can tell me what happened or tell me how this is possible. But given how different I am, I'm not surprised. But this is only a one-time deal. If I die again, it will be permanent. I spoke to the Hokage about informing you about what is going on. He wants to keep the information to as little people as possible. However, he knows that you can be trusted. I'm sorry. If the past weeks has been hell, and me not being there for you as a friend, said Naruto. It's alright, Itachi said. It's good to know that you're alive. And you're right, the past weeks have been hell. Everything has been hell. But the Hokage made a smart choice. This man, he wants you dead for some reason. Maybe it's a grudge from your father or whatnot. But he wants you dead. And we both know that you want me alive. So it's better if you stay in hiding until we are ready to face him. Yeah, said Naruto. Itachi saw the look on his face. What's wrong? When my mom and dad died, I felt so weak, useless. But there was nothing I could do about that. But I promised myself I never wanted to feel so weak again. However, when that man showed up, the bloodlust that he hit us with, it was just so much. My mind couldn't even understand what was going on at first. I shut down. You're not the only one, Itachi said. Even our sensei had a hard time keeping up. Everyone was affected. Naruto lowered his head, and then Shinko. I wasn't even able to attend her funeral. She was cut down. Naruto clenched his fists. Why did she deserve to die? She didn't deserve that. She was just a nice young girl who wanted to be a part of the shinobi life, who wanted to be the best that she can be. Why was her life taken like that? It just doesn't make any sense. We've spoken on this before, Itachi said. This world, the unknown, is so strong that it will crush you if you focus too much on it. All you have to do, I know, said Naruto. Keep on moving forward. Otherwise, it will crush you under the weight. Naruto got to his feet. That is why. He glanced over as Itachi saw at least 100 scrolls. What are all of the scrolls that belong to my mom and dad? Fuinjutsu, ninjutsu, genjutsu, all of them. I intend to use this time to get as strong as possible. I'm sorry that I'm not going to be there to help you. Or the fact that we can't go on missions anymore for some time. But given Orochimaru, and given this man that wants me dead, you know, I understand, Itachi said. There is nothing to worry about. I'll be placed on a new team. And besides, I can always come and visit. Yeah, said Naruto. He glanced over. It seems you didn't say farewell after all. Over to the side, sleeping in her crib, was none other than Mito. Yeah, said Naruto, seemingly really happy about that. They spent the rest few minutes talking amongst one another until Itachi had to leave. There was a few people that could know about this without problems. Mikato was one of them as well. That woman cared a lot about him. She was best friends with his mom, so of course she knew about it as well. She was told. However, the circle was pretty small. After a few months, Itachi was promoted to Chunin, field promotion. As everyone could see, that his talents are just being wasted as a genin. And from Chunin, Itachi was placed straight in the Anbu. He was one of the youngest members to attend the organization. However, he was not alone. Itachi was pretty nervous. Today was his first day. He was going to be placed on Team Row. His father believed that this was the best choice. He believed it as well. It will help him to build structure, rather than taking on the face of a plain jonin. He was going in for a different career. After all, his skills are more suited in this area as well. He had seen Naruto and he was able to spend time with him a lot. Over the few years that passed by, Itachi has also grown somewhat as well. As he got his uniform, he was heading towards his destination locker. So this was it, he thought to himself, as he kept all of that inside though. He didn't show it off, he kept it inside. His nervousness for one. However, when he arrived, someone else was standing there. The person was looking directly at him. They were wearing a fox mask. Itachi saw the hair. There was only one person that he knew that had that hair. He hadn't spoken to Naruto in a few weeks, as he was busy. He was confused, shocked mostly. Naruto? He took off the fox mask. Itachi was surprised. What are you Surprise, huh? Yeah, very much. Throughout the time while Itachi was going through Genin and then Chunin rank, Naruto was being personally trained and also training by himself with all of his father and mother scrolls. Mito was growing wonderfully as everything was going well. The populace seeming to slowly forget about them as they were blending in with the past affairs. A lot has happened after all. Some time ago, the news had reached the Sanin. Orochimaru had burned down the entire facility that he was in at the current time. Orochimaru tried to replicate what he had done, but he failed. The Sanin had been livid and burned the place down to the ground. He even had his inside man try to retrieve the body of Naruto, but the information for where the body was kept was classified. The Hokage had gone through great lengths to make sure that the body was not disturbed in the slightest. Orochimaru was furious, pissed off, upset, angry. He was mad. Everything had worked so well and then it was all taken away from him, slipped through his bloody hands. As for Naruto, he would be wearing a mask in the Anbu. No one would be knowing his true identity. He would be going by the name Fox. Meanwhile, both boys were walking. Kunais were being thrown to their feet. These were the older members. As they heard about the two recruits, the young members, they knew who one of them were, but the other one, his identity was classified even to them. They just called him Fox. He had the fox mask after all. Kakashi Hatake, hidden under his dog mask, appeared as he was a leader. What is going on here? We just wanted to see if they're fit for this position, the member said. These two kids joining up, they did not believe that he had what it takes. However, both boys looked at each other as two kunais slip into Naruto's hand, three slip into Itachi's. The both of them jumped away and launched the kunais towards one another in a strange pattern. The Anbus thought that they were going to fight, which was confusing until they ricochet after one another. As they launched one set, every single target that was around them was hit by them tossing their kunais towards each other. Little to say they were impressed, very much so. Naruto revealed his identity to Shisui. Shisui was a good friend of his, as he was a good friend of Itachi, so they had become friends the numerous times that they trained. Shisui even showed them a thing or two. Shisui was surprised to see Naruto alive, as the information had kept close. So yes, for him even knowing was something that he should not, but Naruto figured that he should know that much. So with that, the boys' career started. They started to go on missions. Most of the missions were kept away from the populace, but Naruto did not really use his Mokuton at all. He held most of it back, most of his true power. After all, he was still in hiding. And every time he was off, he either spent time with his baby sister that was growing, or he was training. She even started to get fascinated in his training. As years passed, their record in Anbu started to rise. Most saw them as merciless killers, and there was a reason for that. However, Itachi and Naruto had a talk some time ago. The people that they would be facing, if they did not end their life before they come after theirs, they would end theirs. Itachi had his younger brother to go home to, his mother, his father. Naruto had his younger sister, so they would not chance anything taking their life. And Naruto had died once before. He refused to leave Mito behind. He had promised his mom that he would take care of her, and he still felt regret that he almost died, leaving her alone. So he would not allow himself to die, and in doing so, they gained a reputation for slaughtering their enemies. Without even showing a shred of mercy, they were said to be bloodlusted, dangerous, wicked. However, they were doing good for Konoha. All of their enemies were slaughtered. Their mission record was stellar, perfect. The both of them were placed on Team Ro, under Kakashi Hatake's supervision, along with someone else. She was a bit older. Her name was Yujiro Uzuki, and another person. It was a 4-man team with Kakashi being the leader there. The team had turned out to be one of the most deadliest. Yujiro was not lacking either. She was as special with the blade. Their last member, he had brute strength, making up for their weaknesses in the other departments. So Team Ro was one of the most efficient Anbu teams. However, this information was kept away from the populace. Naruto caught the attention of the Anbu commander, Wolf. Now that was a big deal. Wolf was a big part of not just the whole commanding operation of Anbu, however of Konoha as well. When anything major was taking place, Wolf was also involved. When the elders were having their meeting, when the Hokage was having his meeting with the elders, Wolf was there as well. Being the commander of the Anbu was a big deal, and Wolf had taken a vested interest in Naruto. The boy had been placed on missions where he had to lead. After all, they swap with teams most of the times, and Wolf had saw his leadership in action, and he was a man that made up his mind, and when he did not change it. However, it did take Naruto by surprise. Naruto was packing his gear. He was still wearing his mask when, out of nowhere, Wolf appeared. "Fox," he said. Naruto gave him his full attention as he stood tall. "Come with me." Naruto made his way after the man. As they made their way to Wolf's private quarters, Wolf sat down. "I've noticed your leadership skills. I've noticed how you behave, how you protect your comrades in missions." Naruto was surprised by that. How the hell would he know that? Was the man watching him? But he kept that to himself. "I will be taking you off Team Ro." "What?" Naruto said, letting it slip out. "From now on, you will be personally placed under my charge." Naruto was baffled by that. It wasn't a request. He was surprised for this man to take a vested interest in him. Him of all person. Yes, he knew that things were going well, but him? "Yes, sir," said Naruto, knowing not to question the commander. Things got a whole lot worse for Naruto. Wolf was at least 1,000 times more commanding and strict than Kakashi. Naruto's whole schedule was thrown all over. He barely got time to see Mito, something that he did not like. Wolf was putting him through hell as he was testing Naruto's resolve. This went on for 1 year full, as Naruto was put through hell and back, and again and again. Wolf had sent Naruto on some dangerous missions, and he was the leader. In situations where he had to think, situations where he had to make calls that caused life and death, and where he had to be the one to make sure his comrades came out alive, or, if he had to, make sure their sacrifice was not made in vain. Yes, it was testing his mental and physical capacity. However, Naruto did not break under the strain. He kept on going. He kept on going, pushing through. He kept on going and going and going. Naruto did not break under the stress or the strain. Wolf had spoken to Hiruzen about The great promise that Naruto showed. The boy was like a sponge, soaking up information, mastering everything that he threw his way. At the moment though, the both of them had some time off. However, something was happening around the village, and Naruto would like to know what exactly was going on. He's heard the rumors. The Uchihas, they started to get rough with the civilians, and even the slightest actions from the Uchiha part, the civilians claimed that they were being roughly manhandled, and that was causing more and more problems between the village and the Uchiha. Wolf had thought it best that Naruto be a part of a few meetings to understand the politics and how Konoha is set. Naruto had heard the words of hatred, despite being none. That man, his name was Danzo Shimura. He had a deep-seated hatred for the Uchiha clan. His words were confusing at first, but the more Naruto replayed them in his mind, the more he started to understand the sinister undertone. If anyone were to be the one spreading rumors, he believed that it was this man. However, Naruto knew that you can only push and push and push until something finally snapped. And given the way they were pushing the Uchihas, with the relocation, he believed that they would soon snap. And if anyone would know this, it was his best friend. As they were both in the open, Naruto was resting in a tree. Itachi was sitting on a stone. "How is your father taking this?" "He's not happy," Itachi said. Both boys had grown impressively, despite still being so young. "I hate to have to ask you this," Itachi said. "Naruto, but does your father plan on fighting back against this?" Itachi looked at him. "Why would you say that?" he said. "I know that your clan is a prideful one. And I know your father. And I know most members of your clan. And I know it's only a matter of time before they refuse to bow to anyone's whims and decide to take action. I've seen it in the past." As Naruto knew, the Uchihas, they did not like to be subjugated. After the Nine-Tail attack, there was many bad rumors, but those had quelled over time. Itachi's face was like a stone as he remained calm. "They all love this village. It's their home," he said. "Yes, it's their home. But if they're being kicked out of it, I wouldn't doubt that they wouldn't fight for their home. Fight to try and take it over." Itachi shook his head. "Come on now. Stop acting like a fool. You more than anyone else. You're different from all of them. And you know that. The way they rely on their eyes. You've seen it for yourself. We've spoken about this. So don't act like you don't know what I'm talking about. If there was something, I would tell you," Itachi said. Naruto gazed down towards him. "Itachi, you're my best friend. But if the Uchihas decide to attack, they're going to be attacking everyone that is not a part of their clan. You love your little brother. And you know I love my little sister. And I won't allow her to get hurt." Naruto said, gazing into his friend's eyes. He was dead serious. Itachi understood what Naruto was saying. And the look on his face, he wasn't playing around. "She won't get hurt," Itachi said. "Everything will work out." There was this defeated look on Itachi's face, like he resigned himself to something. "You've helped me a lot in the past. You've been there for me in my time of weakness, when I lost everything. If you need my help, all you have to do is just to ask. You know that, right?" Yeah, I do. But I have everything under control. Alright, fine, said Naruto. Well, we hadn't gotten to talk lately, he said, changing the topic that they were on. I've been put through hell and back for the past couple of months, so the last thing I want to talk about now is Anbu. How about we talk about Izumi, said Naruto with a smirk. What about her, Itachi said. Come on, how long are you going to pretend like you don't know she has feelings for you? You know, if you don't seize your opportunity, it might slip you by. Naruto said, teasing his friend. However, Itachi's mind, despite the smile on his face, his mind was focused on what Naruto said and what was going to take place soon enough. However, Naruto's involvement was going to change absolutely everything. But guys, be and subscribe right here. If you want to see next part and do, like, subscribe, comment down below, and turn on that bell notification to stay posted. Remember, share to all of your friends in social media platform. But I'm off now. See you guys soon. Peace.